Uh, morning. Oh,
I don't think I'll get used to this next day after drinking.
no. No. Every time it happens, I tell myself I'm never gonna drink again. And then I drink again. I don't even remember much
Hope
of
it'll
last
get
night.
better.
Drink water and
Um,
eat food.
I remember there was a lot of magic tricks that you did. You
Oh.
kind of stabbed Soma.
What? Is he okay?
Yeah. You, I think you walked home.
Why does my mouth taste
And then
terrible?
you stabbed a shark.
I stabbed his shot. Oh, God.
Oh, that's because Soma threw up in your mouth.
I'm gonna pretend I didn't hear that.
Okay. Maybe I should have left that out. I'm sorry.
Well, it does explain it. And, I ended up here, huh?
Yeah. You decided you didn't want to do anything, though.
Okay. I was going to ask. I didn't, I don't mean to be rude or anything.
No, you're okay.
I
I
don't...
let you pick and you decided you just wanted to sleep.
Yeah. I don't want you to feel that I'm, like, you know, rejecting you or whatever, or...
Okay, I'll just put it as you were drunk and you didn't want to do anything while you were drunk.
Well, it's that...
Unless there's a reason you want to tell me.
I'm still kind of figuring things out. I have a bad track record. And I'm a little worried to go anywhere or do anything with anyone, I guess.
No.
I have a habit of losing the people that I actually care about. And
So does that mean you actually care about me?
I do. But I'm so bad at this.
Okay, I'll take that as a win for now.
I don't want to see you hurt. I hate that, and I don't want you to be upset. I want you to have a good life, if that makes sense.
I appreciate that. Yeah, it does. But as far as, you needing time, I'm fine waiting.
It might be
And,
a while.
even though you had bad experiences, it helped shape you to be the person that I like.
I suppose. The most recent loss was just a couple weeks ago. I'm still trying to figure all that out, I guess. So.
I understand.
Again,
Take as much time as you need.
that's very kind of you.
Oh, not going anywhere. Kind of the good and bad part about being a slave.
Yeah, I kind of don't like that.
I'm slowly working to get my freedom, though.
And what about afterwards? Big
There was
plans?
a really nice guy that ended up giving us 5 silver for it.
Oh yeah?
I don't know who he was, but I want to thank him one of these days when I see him. But I'm not really sure what I'm gonna do after. Kinda don't have much plans right now besides stay around Basil, because she's the one that fought me and saved me from going to the fighting pit. And she's the one allowing me to buy my freedom.
She's a good person. You stick with her, I'm sure you won't get lost.
I'm fine on it.
Well, thank you for at least chaperoning me here. I probably wouldn't have made it all the way by myself.
Technically, you were the one seen in the dark. I was just your escort.
Oh, that could have gone terribly.
I trusted you. And my trust paid off.
That is a gamble. You don't really have a reason to trust me.
Well, every time I've talked to you, you've been nice to me. Why wouldn't I trust you?
I suppose. Where are you from, if you don't mind me asking?
I've been transferred around a lot. A couple of the places I didn't even know where I was. Had a wide variety of owners.
I see. I don't know how to say this without it sounding weird. But I really need you to be okay. So
Why does
if
that sound weird?
you need anything, come and find me, okay?
I will. And I don't know what I can do for you, but same goes the other way as well.
Honestly, the company
Even if
isn't
it's
bad.
someone just to talk to.
That's very kind of you. Maybe I'll try to be sober
Oh,
next time.
Mind. I like the company.
Okay. I should probably round up where my friends are. They're probably all over the place.
Okay.
Are you okay? Do you need anything?
I'm okay. Do you need anything like a glass of water or something?
Honestly, that would be pretty good right now. If you don't mind.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I'll let you get your shirt on and stuff. I'll go grab you a water.
Thank you.
No problem.
Yep, that's needed.
Yeah, the last time I had a really bad headache, I was told just to drink a lot of water.
Lots of water and something hearty, like a stew or something, apparently.
Something about filling your stomach.
Yeah, soak it up. There's also hair of the dog, which is just drink a little bit of more alcohol. But that's the last thing I feel like right now.
Did you need another one, or are you good?
I'm good for now, thank you. I'm gonna see where everyone else went off to. If you need anything, come and find me, okay?
Alright, I'll walk you out.
Thanks. And thanks for understanding everything. It's kind of hard to talk about, so...
It's no problem.
Yeah.
I know, I really, haven't had anyone like that before, but there was one person I was close to that I lost, so I can kind of understand the loss.
Yeah.
Like I said, take as much time as you need.
Thank you.
I'll be here waiting for you.
Ow.
No point has been given. Oh, I see how it is. We haven't found a day for it yet, mate. I don't know.
Oh. Good morning, sir.
Don't step on my account. I'm not an adversary.
You ready, girlie?
No fan of the Empire.
To give some
You won't find many
Okay,
around
go
here,
ahead.
I'm sure.
I have not. But that is
Oh,
not
good,
for
there
my
you are,
hunting
sorry.
to find them, or not searching.
Oh, you
I
look
noticed your
hungover.
Yeah.
emblemology yesterday.
Do you want to fight some sea
The lights
thugs?
is going to build up while we talk, so
Not right now.
Ah, dang, I
I
figured.
just wanted to check up
Okay.
on you.
Unlike you, I get
That is
Well,
worse
I'm gonna go
at
to
fighting when I
Casetto.
drink.
in one piece, Aegon.
Oh, dang,
Yeah.
that sucks.
I will.
You could probably hire
Probably
Aegon,
drink
though.
later in
For a
the
silver,
night.
he does pretty much anything you want.
This is on the night.
We'll be
Try to
Uh,
fight some people.
With heavy armor, he's gonna drown if he falls off a boat.
He's been in the boat before.
I'm
Mm.
seaworthy.
Sharik,
Yeah.
need you for a moment.
Mm-hmm.
Huge.
You have a problem?
I'm just
Prep.
worried that if you fall off into the
Some
water,
drinks for
you're
me
going to
inside, I'd be
drown.
grateful.
On it.
It's gonna give you a very pointed look,
I think I'll be fine.
a trouble look.
I just need to not fall off, which
I can do that.
you do if you're
This way
heavy.
if you want.
Less than half of the fight team yesterday.
lovely home, especially for a place like Nautis. I suppose that is befitting a man of yours.
A friend. The dwarf warden. He's a noble.
I see. I have met Mr. Stonehammer. He is very interesting. Seems to know a lot about, well, the goings on here. Imagine he's been helpful. Now, I suppose. As a student, I come across many interesting things. And of course, history being very important to the Emperor and his subjects. I noticed you and the griffin on your chest. I can't imagine that has anything to do with your distaste for the Imperium.
It's a very pointed question, Mr. Ziegler. I'm not sure why you would have that sort of thought process.
I don't necessarily know myself. I simply seek to understand. Thank you.
Just call out if you need me.
People are working closely with the man who is at this point entrusted with my protection of sorts. I should seek to know them wholly for who they are.
Interested in your protection.
In a sense, yeah.
Who? Morgul?
I know it maybe is unlikely, perhaps, but
Why would you need protection? You have, what, a few hundred people who can provide you protection?
I think it only fair that maybe you answer my question first.
You're in my house, and I haven't decided what to do with you yet.
Haven't this... There's
Evil
no
Nautis.
problem, is there?
Have any problems if you just answer the question?
With recent developments, the most pressing being that the Major Taubman is dead, I find myself not to be so comfortable in the care of the Imperial ambassadors here.
Do you wander into a stranger's home asking him about his apparel?
You must understand, I didn't seek to intrude at all. You actually invited me in.
You have to understand, it seems very strange that someone that's so afraid for their life is going to put themselves in compromising situations, or agree to them, no less. People who do that are usually of ill intent.
I have no ill intent here, sir. I simply wish to understand better the people I'm being surrounded by.
The wine's not poison, Ziegler.
Gotcha, it's malice.
My distaste for the Imperium is the same as anyone else's. They did what they did best, and I was on the receiving end of it, like many other Arolandis or others. They butchered, maimed, killed, and burned.
Not many our land deserve as the sigil of Ewan.
Armor is armor, Mr. Ziegler.
I suppose then you scavenged it and brought it halfway across the country.
Have you ever been taught the saying to not ask questions that you don't want the answer to?
Quite the contrary, I've been told to ask questions regardless of what the outcome may be.
Well, I understand that you're new to Gradia, but most nations in the world, if you ask the wrong questions of the wrong people, they wind up slitting your throat. Now I'll reiterate once more that you seem to be decent enough. You have helped a dear friend of mine, and it is the only reason why you are in my home, let alone speaking to me. If I had wished you harm, it would already be done.
And forgive me if your tone suggests otherwise. But perhaps I'm intruding at this point.
My tone is measured, as I am still getting the measure of the man in front of me. Have a seat.
Of course.
You can sit with your back to the wall if it pleases you. I see you fidgeting and looking over your shoulder every 5 fucking seconds.
I'll be just fine, I think. I suppose you could call this my own method of, as you put it, measuring a man. So I am far less versed in such things.
You're young. How old are you, boy?
You'll be 28 in a few months, I think.
Why on earth are you here? Out of everywhere you could be.
Believe you me, it was not my choice originally. I was here on a vacation that my father insisted I go on. For whatever reason, he thought I ought to see what he called the real world. Suffice to say, I found it to be rather not what I expected. It is certainly inept descriptor.
It can
I've
be
lost more than I've lost more here than I care to admit, honestly. I'm not sure what I have gained is really worth what I have lost.
I was told that you had suffered a loss recently. Is that what you're talking about? I assume it is.
If you are friends of Ezrin, trusted and confident to the point where you would essentially kill yourself for him, I suppose there is little harm in telling you. Major Tobman was my godfather. It was the reason that I was sent here to Nautis to begin with. It is the reason I felt safe up until days ago. And it was Vezrin's connection to the Major that led me into his care now. And I suppose in some ways, him into mine.
From what I have heard, the Major seemed decent enough. I am sorry for your loss. Family
was a
is
very
still
good
family after all.
Very much so. After his death, the situation here has been rather untenable for me, but I have found small creature comforts here and there. Truthfully, I don't know whether or not. Rather, the floor has been taken out from underneath me at this moment. So forgive me if I seem sporadic or am asking pressing questions, but when I am pressed, I seek to understand. And it seems that gets me into difficult situations.
While being direct is a good thing, I have learned that it is not a good thing in Gradia most of the time. There's a lot more subterfuge and underbelly here than I would like to admit.
I can't say I've engaged with it, but I'm rather aware this place seems rather lawless at the best of times. Even the guard seem to have a poor reputation here. It's nothing like Sunmore.
Frenchia need a roll, -2 modifier for his negative attribute, broken things.
Oof.
15 minus 2, 13.
I'm curious as to why you were left in the care of an elf, considering where you come from.
I am having difficulty understanding it myself, but as far as I can tell, Mr. Morgul was doing some work for my godfather. He was rather trusted by the man, it seems. To a point, well, to a point where he entrusted him with family, so I don't know if I should disclose the nature of the work, or if you are already aware of what it could be, but it was certainly something that required discretion.
Yes, I'm sure. You obviously came here for a reason. What is it?
Truthfully, I seek to understand how someone gets to the point where they would sacrifice their life for another in the way that you have. And not that I don't understand the bond, but the specifics. If I am to entrust this elf with my life, I need to know who he keeps close and why.
You're treading very dangerous territory, Ziegler. There's not a lot of people who would have the same disposition and patience. There's a lot of people in this
I've been
town that have
treading-
lost a lot to your kin.
I've been
When I
treading
say
dangerous
lot,
ground since I got off the boat. I know how I am viewed here.
No, I don't think you do. I think you have a slight inkling.
Perhaps.
Veteran Morgul is the equivalent of family to myself. We're not related, there are no official bounds that bind us. But we have been through a great deal together. We have suffered a lot together. And we have sacrificed a lot for each other. I understood that the situation was skewed. But I could very clearly hear on the street down below the man getting beaten. If you had such close friends, Ziegler, and you were in a position like that, would you not want them to come for you no matter what, or leave you to your fate?
Truthfully, I don't know that I would. Not a few weeks ago, I would never assume I would be one to be in such a position. But
No one ever thinks it'll be them.
I suppose that I would want aid. If I had friends who felt such a strong way.
When a man loses everything, Ziegler, all he has is his word and the bonds that he forges by it. So there may come a time where you find yourself in a situation like that, and you will hope that you made an impression on someone in terms of friendship.
I'm sure my inexperience shows to a man as versed as yourself. But these past few weeks have been more than I could ever assume they would ever have been. I don't yet know if I can call this veteran my friend as you do. I don't know if I can view him as family as you do.
Then I'll put it this way
I
to
simply
make it
know.
easier for you, to make your mind at ease. 2 years ago, Vezrin would have killed you in a street alley. He has no love for Imperials. He's lost a lot to your kind. But he still has compassion and humanity. And he saw a lost boy, same as I do now.
As much as it pains me to admit, if one is boiling in water, they better understand the situations they're in.
If you are related in any way, shape, or form to the Major, then you are the prime target for ransom, kidnapping, or murder. If this enemy that killed your family member is so intent on it.
It has been ever present in my mind since hearing of his death, yes. Other things too have driven me from the care of the embassy and the clinic as well. I'm rather a bird without wings at the moment. And as you put it, even the people I've been entrusted with, not 2 years ago, would have cut me down in the street. Realize
You
this
can
there is a
thank your
dagger in
own
my
hand.
heart at all times.
I highly doubt that Vezrin Morgul will break his word to you, regardless of what anyone else may think.
suppose I will have to believe you. Otherwise, if the dagger is not going to come from behind me, it's going to come from in front of me.
I am the kind of man to kill who I'm looking at from in front.
I'm not.
I suppose there is some comfort in that.
I have no reason to harm you, Ziegler. But I will speak honestly. Even if it is for your studies, or a historic reason that you find fascinating. Speaking of the heraldry of that armor to anyone will get you killed. You can come to your own conclusions, I don't care. But if you get Morgul killed, if people wind up asking questions around here, and I think it's because of you. I will kill you.
I have no reason to cause you any trouble, Azim.
Then we have no reason to even think about that outcome, because it will not come to pass. I tire of subterfuge and games, Ziegler. There is no honor in Gradia. Cause my people no trouble, and we will cause you no trouble. And if one of them is looking after you, then he will find aid amongst his friends, I'm sure.
If nothing else, you can assure or be assured that no subterfuge will come from me. I'm a rather bad liar. But I will say, perhaps on a lighter note, I am an engineer by trade, and seeing as you are the only blacksmith in town, there may be a time where I come for use of your services and implements. I don't know if that would be agreeable to you or not.
I refuse service to every Imperial that's come to my door, but I can make an exception. Not put out there that you're an engineer, however. The Capitano was at my forge this morning, trying to find someone to repair a night killer that somehow has come into his possession. Now, as far as I know, Imperial soldiers do not leave behind their equipment unless they're dead. So that's a little concerning.
I see.
Don't give him a reason to talk to you.
From his reputation, I hadn't planned on it, honestly.
Are you highborn or lowborn?
Hi.
Use it to your advantage. Get close to somebody in the keep. Somebody that has a reason to keep you alive.
Bezrin
Meaning
mentioned
make yourself
something about
useful.
mentioned something about a Baron Amem.
Risky. Could pay off. Could not. Don't know yet. I
Made
would
it
hold
sound
off
like he had
on that.
worked with him in the past.
He has.
Right.
But these are questions you'd best ask Bezrin, not me.
Well, Tizim, I'm sorry for any intrusion I may have caused you, but
thank you for your time today. It was good to hear from someone else, but I needed to.
You'll survive, Ziegler. Just don't highlight yourself. Stay out of people's way. Find friends both low and high.
We'll try. Don't know advice, but I remind you, I am a bad liar.
And tell truths. Just not whole ones.
I'm sure you have a busy day ahead of you, so I will see myself out.
I'm sure we'll talk in the future, Mr. Ziegler.
I have a feeling as well, yeah. Good day.
Good day.
God damn it.
Say the word.
What the fuck are we supposed to do about this? Say the word. He's a boy.
He seems lost.
Barely a child.
Malleable.
Which also means he could slip up and make mistakes.
True. He said himself he's a bad liar.
Vezrin has been charged with his care. Did he tell you anything about this?
No, but he was close to Topman.
Has he told him that he allowed the Major to die?
I doubt that.
I don't regret it, but I certainly didn't need this on my conscience. God damn it all. I want you to keep a close eye on him here and there. Make sure that he's not pulling the wool over our eyes. Don't hurt him. Not yet.
Understood. I'll keep my eyes open.
Fuck. All this shit just piles up. You think you understand the situation, you think you can fucking trust somebody and everything goes tits up at the first possible fucking moment.
Plan never
It feels
survives
like 2
contact
steps
with the
forward
enemy.
and 3 steps fucking back.
Oh, I know.
Yes, well, the enemy's not supposed to be people within your own fucking ranks. Never mind.
You know him, he probably didn't think it through enough.
Yeah, I'm sure. It's not what I fucking meant. I do love you, I hope you know that.
Never questioned it.
Just stay right here, please, for regulations and safety for the products in here. Okay?
Do you think I give a fuck about your regulations?
Yes, because some...
I'll be right back, chat. Let me know if something happens. better watch out. You better watch out. You better watch out. You better watch out. Getting some more, yeah. Had to take a drink. Trying to stay hydrated. I can feel the sickness coming on. Oh, wow.
What I usually pay her.
One more time.
You can keep it all for her.
Fucking time, Mr.
She'll come get it when she's ready.
You know what? Why don't you break
I'm
his
gonna
nose?
cut you
from balls to brains.
I'll pay you for whatever days that you're
Break his
here.
nose. Maybe he'll understand
Let's go
basic
over here.
values of
Let's
the
go
situation.
that
Hold his
way.
head. Hold his head.
Let's go over there. No.
I see Wilfred anywhere. Have you seen
Put your
Wilfred
fucking
this
hands
morning?
down or I'll chop them off.
It's just right over here, sir. Let's just go.
Maybe we'll shop later.
Just know he left a little rat under there in the morning.
Oh, he did? Okay, you left it in his you left it in his corner over there.
Yeah, as usual.
Okay, I do.
Nasty
Okay,
little
good.
thing.
Before we do this.
I need to get him a fish then, because I asked him to. If you can believe that, I think he understood
I
what
need
I
to
mean.
do something before I go there.
I think you're crazy, Venora, but if you say so.
Many people do.
With the opening moves,
Young
my
Sharik,
name's
is my order ready for pickup today?
It is, with the exception of one of the items I was working on.
Get the fuck out of here.
Stand up straight, soldier.
Let me see.
So what items were prepared? Hey. Oh,
How are you feeling?
Morden.
Holding a
Like
plane
shit.
right in front of me.
Like absolute dog shit. Shot him through and through.
So get
Any of the shields finished?
He pulls out some edible herbs.
Not quite yet. I'm waiting on the lab.
Trick of my people.
Thank you.
Okay. It's not quite as powerful as some of the more addictive herbs, but chewing that it'll help with any headache you might have from last night.
The brewmaster, I've already put in an order for 4 of them.
Good. Okay.
A glaive, 2 spears, and a poleaxe. I've bundled them up for you.
Oh, then that means all 4 of them were done then, actually.
What do you need, Cooper?
So you did finish. So you finished the whole order.
Almost.
Thank you.
Something else I'm working on.
Almost.
What has happened to you?
What is the other thing that you're working on?
You'll see later. It's a surprise.
Negotiations, I guess.
But when it's done,
Oh,
I'll come and find you.
What have you done?
Can I speak with you for a minute?
Sure.
Unless...
Stuff, that's all.
What do you
I
need?
just thought I should do one of my errands. How much is a feather sword?
A what sword?
A feather sword, a training sword.
The visitor last night, Elven Ranger, came by and mentioned that he wanted me to look at something that you lot had apparently found.
I was
He's
about
in
to tell
town.
you. We found this at the orc camp the other night when we went and did some sneaking around.
Come with me.
I was wondering if you could have a look at it and figure out a few things that we can't
That's
read.
why we're going to the study, so I can have a look at it under candlelight.
You said the ranger's in town.
He's staying at the... He mentioned that he would speak with us today
I see.
regarding this item that you found.
Might need a DM for this.
Looking to see if I can't find Giga. Just waiting on confirmation.
Uh-huh.
You say you got this from...
From the orc camp. You know, the one that we, raided?
Aye, the one that we burned.
The ranger and I snuck in, found their meeting place. This is something that they tried to burn. You can see it's singed around the side. But it's a map of the general area, although most of the things that are written are in Orcish or the markings we don't understand. Given your expertise with them, fighting them in the past, we figured you could probably be the best person to look at it. What was the Warbusters' name again? Zerug? You have this shit written down? Nope. I have a lot of stuff I need to keep track of. I mean, like, look at all this shit. Just to start, I need, this is like, some of it. Plus, I got you guys to keep track of stuff. I'll call him Zerog.
I believe this should be made of human leather more than anything else.
Gross.
Yes, tends to be. They don't do much with paper, I'm afraid, to... I guess... far beyond their capabilities.
These orcs seem pretty organized, though. Hell, they even had lieutenants there. Small group of them that gathered. Doesn't bode well.
Damn it. I was right. Here. The markings on this side here, lads. There are markings along the road indicating that these are ambush points. Ambush points that the orcs are using to ravage caravans and steal the supplies. I thought this might have been what was happening, but I wasn't sure, but now I can tell for a fact. Krotsky's Inn is actually mentioned by name, which is interesting. Just past the Krotsky's Inn and Cassetto, there we go.
There's a ridgeline past
Intercepting
Krotsky's.
supplies for...
Pretty good ambush.
Apparently they're intercepting the supplies not only for the town, but also for the Sardello camp here. There's a road there. They've been using that to ambush. It's not good.
This is smart for them. What's that face for?
Oh no. The larger markings, you see what they're noted, lad?
Mm-hmm.
It's that battlefield I wanted to look into. It's their main encampment. They're looking to expand it. Oh, and here it goes. Come back. Stay there. We're not through with you yet.
We've halted that expansion by damaging the camp, no? If they can't be contained in the crags like they are now...
They're seeking to go from the crags to the battlefield, lad. That means their numbers are far worse than we thought. If they're looking to expand into the open ground from the crags, that's very bad news. It means that there is a number here that we can't contain on our own. Not us. We would need... Small. One moment. These markings here. Sabine Forest is mentioned here. They're planning to gather the supplies they need for their expansion to the battlefield from the outlying forest. Sabine Forest being one of them. They're planning to bypass the Sardello company entirely and gather the wood they need from the forest. They're also planning to gather it from here. Not too far from the Imperial Embassy. They're getting bold. And they have the numbers to allow it, which is bad.
So we need to disrupt them somehow.
These... It's not even that, lad. If this is right, the forest here are going to be swarming with orcs. I mean, positively swarming. Which means our friends in the forest are in grave danger.
Probably best you hang on to this. I can't read it. Okay, how do we counter that then?
I need to speak with the ranger about this so that they know. Obviously, that's why he wanted to talk to us, but for us, they're seeking to gather supplies. They've been gathering supplies for some time, raiding the caravans as I thought. It won't be long until they start raiding the open road in front of Cassetto, not only for the Sardello supplies, but for the supplies for this town entirely. The robber baron's men won't be the only ones raiding our caravans. In fact, the robber baron's men may in fact end up being moved away. The orcs will take up their space, kill any that get in their way, expand in such a number that we won't be able to stop them. The plans for their expansion, I had... The other day, I actually spent some time thinking on a tactical lookout from this. The only logical sense from the crags would be to expand and attack the roads like they had the orcs, the goblins. They were on the roads as scouts. They're looking for more possible vantage points to gather more supplies. They're not only going to be targeting the Cassetto roads, the roads from beyond the Cross Keys, they'd be attacking the ones on the way to Palermo. Or have I might have gotten the
Switched around, but you are right.
layout wrong.
Palermo is close to the Cross Keys.
They're
Cossetto is the
already-
other direction.
That means they're already raiding both. They're raiding just above the Cassetto. Here. Here is Cassetto. There's us. They're raiding the roads to the north of Cassetto. Nautis is still receiving small amounts of supplies, and they're still getting to Cassetto, which is why we haven't noticed. But if they move from where they've been raiding from Sordello's to the road just above the Cross Keys Inn, where they attacked that caravan I mentioned before, the one where I was rattled across the head by a hammer, it means that not only are they expanding, they're mapping the entire battlefield. They've mapped, more than likely, the entire central region and are already laying the groundwork for their expanse. We're running out of time.
We'll bring it up with the Ranger. He might have something planned that we can at least delay them.
The only thing I can think of to delay them further would be to raid their ambushing squads to stop them from receiving supply. The problem with that becomes that the more desperate they become, the more powerful these raiding squads will become, and the more dangerous it will become for those who attempt to stop them. You already saw, we fought the one war troll there, but there was a second bed. And from what I've heard, they've already guaranteed that there is a war boss here.
Yes.
That is very bad news.
Well, there's a war boss on their way from somewhere. I don't know where exactly. Also, another war troll, from what we overheard at this summit that they had.
Have they already had? Unless the other bedding was in preparation for the second one. But how are they getting past? It means they're getting past the... They're getting past the bog. And the Sordellos that are trying to build... Oh... If this is true, like I believe it to be, a Sordello company that's been gathering the supplies that we need, the wood and such, have a greater need of it than we do. Because they're the only thing stopping whatever this is from gaining even more men and supply that they've already got. It means that this entire thing is already pre-orchestrated by the war boss and his men. They destroyed the fortress in order to build... No, to make a hole.
I think there's someone at your door.
No, it's... Thank you, lad. Feel free to let your father know we've discussed you.
Alright.
At the very least, he needs to know so that our friends in the wood do not get caught off guard.
Yeah, I'll let them know as well.
Who's at the door?
Hmm?
It's your father. He needs us both.
Understood. I was just paying my respects.
The armor and the clothes. And this is my cooking outfit. What do you want?
I got some meat for you.
Aye.
25.
cut through the house.
There you go. Oh, pardon us.
And this is pheasant, sir.
Pheasant today. Caribou and...
Need to know the expertise of the Longbeard to know what I am looking at.
Zim, you were
Marcel.
knocking on my door. Did you need something?
Ah,
I was looking for
good afternoon, Sharik Longbeard.
Say that again?
Was looking for.
Everyone's always
Need
looking
us for
for
something?
Desert. Nobody's ever looking for Markle. I understand.
Because I can always find.
I do, yes.
You don't hide.
I would like to go over the map that was found on our expedition,
We were just talking
so
about
that
it.
I know what to expect.
Well,
Very
I'm
good.
Here. You need
I've been able to decipher it, and the news is not good.
All right.
I'll take you inside, if that's all right with the Forge Master.
Stocking her up just in
If
case.
you would stay seated, I will gather the map until you would have found.
We'll buy in bulk, I'm sure.
Very good. Then I will wait.
All right.
Coming in. Day treating you well so far?
So far, so good.
Good.
Though from how this is being framed, in a little bit it will become far more stressful. However, not expected. Unexpected, I should say.
It's one of those worse than it thought moments.
Is that so?
Apparently. I'm sure he'll explain it.
Then I suppose in due time, I will know everything that I need to know.
Shall I go grab Tizim as well?
If he's not busy.
That is up to you. If you think he will be of assistance, then by all means.
Some more so he understands the situation himself.
He's pretty tactically sound in the mind.
Good to know. It's that bad, isn't it?
It's pretty bad. They're looking to expand, basically. Out of the crags.
That is not good.
No. They think they can do that, then they must have the numbers.
It would be much harder to contain.
My thoughts exactly.
Well, we heard on our mission that they were already in possession of another war troll, even after you all had killed one already.
Yeah.
Meaning they have connections to get more if needed. If expansion is on the table, then they are serious.
I do wonder how they're slipping those through, though.
I am unsure.
Your father's going to take a little bit of a rest, lad, so...
Fair enough.
Get to business then. I've already discussed this with the young lads. It's, the smaller X's on the roads, the ones notably to the north of Cassetto, and, well, I say the north to the east of Cassetto, and to this point here, just beyond the Cross Keys and closer to the Sardillo camps, are where they are assaulting and ambushing supply caravans to supply themselves. They've got various ambush points with all these little X's here, which is where they hit the caravans as they're coming. My fear, which has already been founded, is that this was exactly the case I'd been thinking about this the other day before you ventured to visit. I mentioned as such, I had fears that they were going to start striking the roads, and I fear that they're going to go even further because of what happened next. Here we have the crags. This is where they are currently, but these symbols here, the markings.
Yes, these ones here and here.
Suggest they're intending to push themselves out into the open field that used to be that battleground, the marshes. It means their numbers are far greater than we thought they were. If they're looking to expand to open ground, it means that the raiding parties are going to get far worse. Far, far worse. And it's not just going to be us that suffer them. The Sardello camp is more than likely going to be wiped off the map. Not only that, if what is on this map is true, in order to expand as they are wanting to do, they've mentioned the Sabine forest here, and a forest not too far north of where the Imperial Embassy is. Problems that we have here is that they're intending to swarm the forests to gather the materials they require in order to make these expansions into this larger battlefield. More than likely they will hold the crags as well as make their main encampment here. The centre of the battlefield, where they'll have an open view of any intended intruders, as well as have the facilities to train their mounted cavalry and trolls.
This is not good. If you are saying that this is one of their ambush points here past the Cross Keys Inn, and that is across from the battlefield, this appears to be the larger standing stones that are just past the inn. If that is meant to be their ambush point, they would merely just attack the road and then go directly across to the battlefield and into the crags.
I can already tell you that we've already encountered this ambush point. Not myself, but a debtor that I was unfortunately tied to. One of their caravans attempted to escape on this road and was attacked and completely eviscerated by the orcs. We ourselves managed to escape after felling them.
And what we are looking at is already in motion.
I know the robber baron's men
however,
operate
we
in
now
that
know
area.
what they are doing.
They're pretty consistently there watching the roads. I'm surprised that the orcs have navigated around them. Or overrun them.
Perhaps they don't want to be seen. Or perhaps it's what they're after might not be the same.
They're both attacking caravans. They're both using basically the same ambush point.
But the ambush points, the ones that we saw when you got attacked, they were after weapons.
That's true.
It means the other caravans that have been getting through wherever the robber baron is attacking hasn't been stopping the weapons supply.
I don't know why he wouldn't.
I don't know. But the orcs have clearly marked this point.
Think of now. There are two things that come to mind, at least right now, when it comes to that point outside of the Cross Keys Inn. If they are attacking caravans and other things that could be useful supply-wise, it could be to power whatever forge that they have that we heard about that needs its resources to run. However, we also destroyed their supply camp, which has put them behind schedule, and from what it sounds like, it is not being used yet. Which, on its own, I am starting to see a couple of different things that need to be looked at. However, we do not have enough manpower to tackle them all at this time. One would be the ambush points, what seems to be Cross Keys and Cassetto, but also if they are gathering wood from the forests, it means they could again begin to expand, fortify. Go ahead, Longbeard.
They're intending to expand into the forests and gather the materials, which means these forests are going to be swarming. Behind every tree, there will more than likely at least be an orc, if not a goblin.
Especially if it is close by. Now that you have pointed it out, if you look at here, they are smartly navigating around the Sordillo camp to go into Sabine. They plan to ignore it entirely to get what they need, going the long way around and then back into the crags from the battlefield.
This ambush point here has been bleeding the supplies to the camp. They're playing a long game, starving them out. And while the Sordillos are trapped inside that camp, trying to keep the orcs in, they're already coming out beyond their notice.
Should we be handing
What
this
has me
information to
worried,
the Sordillo?
however,
Or at least letting them know?
This is something that can be informed to the Sordillo. However, they are also mercenaries and operate on coin. We cannot ask them to do things out of charity.
No.
More often than not, if things get started for too long, they may just leave.
But if they're there,
nothing would then be pestering them in the crags below.
Exactly, we need them there. Even if they're not working directly for us, they are fighting the orcs. They need to know the best way to do that. Otherwise, we lose not even an ally, just something there, like a stopgap or something. If they get overrun or they leave, then
Informing
orcs
the
have free
Sordillo
range.
is something that we should definitely do.
Agreed.
there's one other thing that has me concerned. This, and the fact that I'd heard that a war boss is either present or on its way, it means they found a way past the bog. Not only did they destroy the fortifications, and the Sordillo have been busy building it, I feel like that might be a diversion. I think they're coming under. It would match that cave we found, the one that they hid.
It's closed in, though.
Cave to 10.
Mm.
Yes, but it will only take a few trolls to move the boulders.
There's no way they can get through
There
the
was
bog.
a cave that I was told about in the Badlands, but it was caved in entirely. If they were having to remove it every so often, even to get their own inside, I would feel that would be too slow. Besides,
but what I'm fearing
that we overheard were saying that they already had another troll on the way that was killed Gershon prior.
But how is it coming here? Same with the war boss. It'd have to come from Agmardrod. And the reason that I'm concerned is that if they're coming from Agmardrod, they're more than likely bringing more with them. Which either means that that fortress up by the bog is going to be destroyed once again, and this time wiped out. Because it's going to have the company of a war boss. We might be looking at a tide. A green tide.
You said there's a fortress above the bog.
The Sordillos have been defending the place for years, lad. Even us in Vernfolder know of it. There's a fortress up here that the Sordillos have been holding off the orcs from. It's also where they send their adventurers through. They send their scouts through from here to Agmardrod. To scout Agmardrod and head to the beyond, to the Badlands, the Morogarath. But from what I understood, it had been attacked and wiped out, and this is why the supplies that we have here have been getting taken. The wood, the stone. They were trying to rebuild what had been destroyed. And I'm not entirely sure if that's part of a plan for them to... I can't tell. The fact that the war boss has taken an interest in this place is not good. At all.
What was the name of the war boss? Do you remember, Sharik?
Zerug.
The one those four referenced.
Something Hammer. Zerug. Zaruk. Crimson Hammer. Something like that. Yeah. Started with a Z.
Has this name ever crossed your paths for Longbeard? Rolling. With an 11, Morden, Zuruk, at the very least, at least in your experience, didn't have a very large name for themselves, though they gained notoriety from using mainly a wooden club for most of their rampaging. To hear that they've become the leader of this area is a promotion, to say the least, and that they're still alive. They called them
concerning.
Zuruk Crimson Club or something of the matter.
You've heard of it?
I've heard the name. Yes.
Have?
I'm surprised he's still alive. He's not, he's not one of notoriety. Not one of the ones that I would say that have piqued the ears or the eyes of Von Folder, but his name has come across as he made a name for himself using only club for a weapon. I would have thought him an underling. I didn't realise he would have rise to the ranks this far. For him to be a
This
war
could be then a
boss.
test to see if they're worth more of their forces in the future. If they can take this region. When was the time you heard of this Zuruk? How long has it been, you think?
Back when I was still leading the clan in the Stonehammer halls, we'd had a few skirmishes with the orcs in the past. His name came up on one of the ledgers as a leader of a party. At this point, he was just a war chief, acting under another war boss. He made a nasty toll, dead, which we had to inter into the holds. But I'd thought him slain.
If that is the case, then there were 4 heavily armored Greyskin. That spoke of this Zuruk, meaning he has 4 leaders underneath him already. At least for this area.
That's bad. Either he took the role of war chief, no, war boss, I should say, through some order of merit, which means he's done something to earn the main war boss's favor. These other war chiefs could easily be others of note that I would need to hear. I would need to hear the names. But it's also possible they are entirely fresh war chiefs taken under his banner. That could be problematic. Because that means that they would be more vicious and more wild as they seek to make a name for themselves.
More likely to slip up?
The 4 that were...
Very likely.
Speaking of this Zuruk, spoke that they needed to produce results, and that this Zuruk was unpleased with their efforts that had happened with the supplies after being burned, meaning they're going to start acting rather quickly to not get punished any further, which would mean more than likely for everyone at different points, one of them will be there. If they're to go, Zuruk would lose his leaders, meaning morale and cohesion would also go down. In theory, anyway.
Theory.
From what
we have
it looks
here,
like, at
though,
least
is
to
that we
me,
don't know.
At the very least, these are all large, overarching plans for the underlings to manage, not Zuruk himself. And that is the other thing, we do not know where he is. That is something I can try and find myself. But we have the ambush point of Cosetto, their logging efforts in the forest, the Cosetto ambush point. And,
If they've got the main camp expansion, the main camp expansion,
but that is more in line with logging. They would need to get the wood from the forests in order to make the fortifications that they need, since most were burned.
They also have this forest here just north of the Imperials that they had people going to. It's possible they have the ambush point here being managed by the same. If it means that we've only accounted for 3, there's another one missing. There's something we're not seeing on this map.
It is not on here. However, this is merely from what I would do in their position. If their forge needs resources to work and all of them are gone, where would you go?
mine. It's
The iron mine
mine
is not
for-
on there. It may not be on this version of the map. However, it is also entirely possible that if they want to start production in earnest, that they would capture the iron mine from these robber baron men that you speak of. I have seen the armored men there myself. However, this becomes another problem. Who do you want the mine? The robber baron or these orcs? That would be the fourth person if that is where they are going.
The other war troll that was mentioned to be on its way would provide enough muscle for them to take the mine along with the rest of their men. Even 40-odd armoured men wouldn't be able to stop a fully rampaging war troll. We barely
Then
took
it
the
would
one
appear
that we
that we
fought
have our
down.
4 points. We have
This is
the
bad.
Standing Stone ambush point, Caseto's ambush point, which was that tall ridgeline that I had seen before. Their logging efforts in the Sabine Forest and right by the Imperial Embassy. And possibly, it is not on this version, the iron mine, if they take it from the robber baron. But if they take it, there is no telling what will happen after. If this robber baron will want to take it back or cut their losses. But then it's under orc control, and it must be captured from them and held.
The problem we have...
Even with all of this, the problem is that I do not have enough manpower to operate on all these points, as you say, Longbeard. With myself and the Rangers, we can probably deal with one of them on our own, and it would be up to volunteers to decide which one they want to take on themselves. There's too much for us here to deal with all at once. Some points we'll have to give.
Alerting.
It is not something I say lightly.
Alerting the Swordillo, we could point them in a specific direction and see if we can put their manpower there. Maybe at least limit operations in that
The
area.
Swordillos would want their supply
If we can
lines to be
convince the
saved.
Swordillo.
Well, it's mutually beneficial. If they can keep their
The
supply
hard part
lines
is
open, they can keep operating. And they, well, deal with the orcs. I'm going to mark this one specifically for
However,
them.
Go ahead. The only hard part that I see with these Swordillo, from what I understand, is that they operate primarily on coin and have been dealing with the orcs merely because they are bad neighbors now. After a point, they will just up and leave if it is becoming too much of an expenditure for this group. And once they leave, that would mean the orcs have full control to go in and out of the Sabine Forest with no opposition whatsoever. It would be a matter of how do we convince the Swordillo to stay and also annoy the orcs going into the forest and not just wait for them to attack their gates, as they have been up to this point from what I have seen. How do we force the Swordillo to go on the offensive?
We would have to inform the barons, but in the state that they're in, they'd only bicker more and do nothing. The Imperials would be possible to handle their own forest, but whether or not they
The
would,
Imperials
they won't do
are
anything
without
now that the
leadership
Magel's
right now.
gone.
Yeah, they're probably
Exactly.
not going to be launching any offensives without a proper command structure. They're just going to sit there and wait until someone
More
shows
than
up.
likely, we should
Only
consider the embassy itself to be not an option if they have no leader.
Exactly.
Agreed.
The embassy is going to lock themselves down and more than likely take any attempts from us to deal with the forest to the north and the temple to the temple.
What is it? Longbeard.
The forest north here, there is also a temple somewhere up north. A temple of Isara, and
I know where it
the
is.
town. The town, it's not far from it either. If the orcs are going to be rampaging through that forest, they'd also target the temple for its supplies. It's often known for having medical supplies. People are often taken there for treatment.
Pilgrims too.
I have
Have
not
a steady
seen
supply.
the orcs or goblins of the like going towards this temple of Isara yet. However, I can understand where you're going with this. I have not seen much activity going past to, I believe it is Balerno, I think the name of that town is.
If they're
It's
just
been
gathering
in the
supplies,
Sabine forest.
they don't need to be leaving the forest at all. Especially if it's mainly just wood and
Precisely.
such. They shouldn't need to go on any raids. They'll be mainly
From the
getting their
looks of
other
this,
things from the
They would be leaving the
ambushes.
Badlands, skirting the battlefield, which is here, going around Sordillo to Sabine. There would be no fighting whatsoever, and then bringing the logs back.
If we could inform Sordillo about that, they could cut
So
them
they are
off.
smart enough to avoid Sordillo.
Or at least get them to send patrols to to check them even. They don't need to stop them completely, just make it harder for them. Slow them down. While we deal with the other ones.
Going from what I'm seeing here and what I've just mentioned of the temple and the town there. If I were to think like an orc, which I loathe doing, that would be a constant source, not only for medical supplies, but for food. The scent of blood would draw them in. They targeted pilgrims, the people that moved to Temple of Isara. Perhaps they wouldn't start taking them all one by one. They would time their attacks and essentially have an unending supply.
Their food supply is coming through the raids on the wagons, though. They wouldn't need to go out further.
The forests, if they're swarming the woods to gather the wood material, they're also going to be ravaging the animals. The entire ecosystem of that forest is going to disappear within days. If the number of orcs that I believe, if they're expanding into this, suggests they would need another supply area scouted out and secured. While they're gathering materials from this point, they'd also be scouting out the town, Balerno, and the Temple of Isara, where people are often taken that are injured, bleeding. The scent of blood would draw their noses from a mile off. And if they know that people who get injured are sent there, they would deliberately cause trouble but wouldn't kill them. They'd send them to the temple, and they'd have more people attacked on the roads. They'd have the goblins perhaps attack them on the roads and force them to go to the temple, where they would be ambushed in number and taken a supply.
Likely how we react to all of this, that may be where they go ultimately if we start to cut off their ambush points. So this is something to keep in mind. Now we'll keep this in mind going forward so that we can react accordingly and no innocent lives are lost. More than likely, some sort of attack like that would also include one of these leaders that we saw up on the hill before. But that is not something that is happening yet. That is probably something that will happen once more of this has been attempted to be dealt with.
So we have the two ambush points.
In the meantime, though,
the supply route.
We have the ambush points, the forest, and possibly the mine. But that is not on this map. But that is what I would do.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Myself and the rangers can take care of these points, which could leave the rest, one or two of the others to you and the volunteers. It's too much for everything to be handled all at once.
The robber baron men.
I'm going to be speaking.
We'll be able to at least delay any attacks on the iron mine, so we can cross that off our list for now. Sordillo Company with these forests that they're mining, if we alert them and they're all for it, they can go for the... well, they can try and slow them down as well. If your rangers are comfortable taking out one of the ambush points, volunteers can deal with the last one.
What do you think, Longbeard? His plan. I am open to any suggestion.
This needs coordination. Because the moment we attack any of these, it's going to alert the others that someone knew what they were planning.
Especially
this would have to be done within a few days of each other. We couldn't leave it, because if we get... Just looking at this isn't normal orc planning. It's far too sophisticated. We would need to try and rally the forces around here, all of which to work in tandem at roughly the same points and intervals so that we can cut off the head of the snake.
More than likely.
And
if these 4 points that we have been speaking of are the ones in fact,
There is knocking
each one of them
coming from
having
the
their own
door
leader.
on the side of the forge.
If we take out each of these points and one of them has one of these leaders that talks to this.
Come on.
Hello.
Get inside. Get inside.
However, at this point though, we need to focus
Where's your
on these
father?
4 points.
Upstairs asleep.
And knowing where
Why?
we're going.
Good, but do you owe anyone money?
Me? No.
So that it can be covered.
Does your father owe anyone money?
Not that I'm aware of. Why?
They'll think that it's. They'll think that it's simply
There's
a
men outside
retaliation.
looking for a man with a phoenix on his chest and a drow boy. They're armored and they have weapons.
What colours are they wearing?
They might make them a bit more cautious and make things
Greens
a bit
and
more
purples
difficult for us
and
in the future.
all kinds of different things. I don't know.
There's a lot of them, Sharik.
Only
I'm drawing pictures too.
slight increase in guards.
Great.
Slight increase.
Listen, I'll edit.
The moment we start attacking any of these supply lines,
No,
is
no, no!
when we'll
Don't you
start
dare write
taking notice
over
of
my
what we are
message.
doing.
I got
They'll
this.
understand what we know what we're up to.
You see people in your
Angry
father's
guys
we have
just
this is the
standing
case.
here, and then there's.
Can I help you?
Wait.
I would suggest that myself.
Hi. Yes. I'm writing a note for Tazim so he knows that collectors are here for him.
Yeah.
She barged in.
How?
Barged in. I barged in.
You
We
said-
talked for like 2 minutes.
They're talking. You said you were allowed up here.
Yeah, I am.
How did you get in, Torty?
This is his office. She has a
I
key.
have a key that Tazim gave me.
Go wake him up. I didn't see you come in the back doors. Did you climb up on our balcony again?
At that point,
Yes, that's the only door that I have a key to. Unless it's a universal key and I just don't know.
Why does she have a key?
Go through the main doors next time. Finish that up. You stay out of his office. Let's go.
Alright, alright.
There
we go. I'll put him with a beard so he knows that's him. Okay.
However,
Go on.
if people, if volunteers are waiting nearby when they are attacked, when dragons are going there, stemming the tide and then coming with them to Sordillo to let them know that they had helped,
Sharik.
Yep.
they could start to form a debt.
Wait. Keep everyone inside.
And in kind, whatever
It
they
can't
are
be that
bringing,
much
perhaps
money.
it is something
I have
valuable.
a
That would be a
decent
gamble in
amount of
itself, but if we show that there are people
They're
actually
not
going
debt
out of their way
collectors.
to help the Sordillo, it is possible.
They said money.
They may stay
That's what
around
they said.
longer.
They
or
did.
be more
And then I
amenable.
offered them like 3 silver and they said,
poking around in
okay,
the
too
forests.
fast. And then
Possibly.
they went, and
something to
and then said,
consider.
I'll make it worth
For
your
my suggestion then,
if you tell me about
to
the
make
old
it
man.
at least give us a little bit more time.
No.
I can have you
Absolutely
during
not.
this
I
position
doubt
on
they're
the
here for just
Cassetto
money.
Road. That is
Tazim!
entering the forest,
We got a problem.
would be
There's
nothing
too
new.
many of them.
If we were to suddenly start attacking the Cross Keys Road, they would start to become suspicious.
it would be better for you to attack the area closest to your borders because then it would be
Wait downstairs.
like the orcs think you're retaliating because their presence is getting too close.
That I can do. So the Rangers and myself will be Cassetto.
Kyle,
We
we're
will
watching
put Sordillo in a debt,
multi-hued drow
possibly.
swish away with her dreadlocks. You
For the
can't
forest,
help
but then that would
know
also
somewhere in
mean
the back of your mind, it's just another
that
security
the
risk.
He's gonna try picking the door.
The Cross Keys Road, and possibly the mine would be unattended. We cannot be everywhere at once. However, the iron mine would be borrowed time. Maybe. It is unsure.
Guess not.
It is not on this map. It would be something I could look for. While fighting at Cassetto, I would know. if
I
there's
guess don't let
fighting
anyone in the
happening.
house then, because we can't do anything about it.
I would keep an eye on it for the signs of anything. The other option is we somehow let slip to the robber baron that is men
Fucking
getting
beats
attacked
me,
at the
kind of
mine. The robber
annoying.
baron's already owning the mine at the moment. we could get more time if he sends more people to hold that mine while they're being assaulted. But
welcome to the.
that's still a gamble.
Can I get you anything?
Because regardless
It
of
would
who
also
owns the
mean that
mine,
this-
it's
Better
not
help.
hands.
It is not in Redot. From what I understand, if it is not in Redot,
did you say,
it is not of any use to much of anybody. Which
exactly
is why I pose the question of
I can get some tea.
if you let them take it
Rum.
and then you retrieve it from the orcs, is it worth it in the end? Or do we let the rubber baron keep it? Again, that is not something we have to come to now, as nothing's been happening yet.
My current suggestion would be to allow the orcs to assault the mine for the simple fact for the robber barons meant to react, but there are also people in that mine that are not of the robber baron.
It is true that there are people
Regardless
that
of
are
what we
slaves
choose.
merely mining them.
Regardless of what we choose, if that mine gets attacked,
I have not.
something has to be done. Regardless, because the orcs can't be allowed to take a single bit of ore from that mine.
I'm sorry, I was.
Because the moment they begin supplying themselves, it won't stop. They have a supply of orcs that will, or goblins
that is
even.
okay. You had long.
They can
Thank
dig
you.
little rat runs
My
into the
special
mines.
reserve.
The moment they begin, it's impossible for us to remove them. It'll become a goblin nest.
Oh.
Because their holes are too small for us to go through. They would simply infest the mines, and regardless of what we did to try and take them, it would become a goblin nest. We can't let the orcs have that mine.
We gotta wrap
We're
this
not
up.
getting Sharik, this is bad.
Yeah.
Which also means that this supply needs to be dealt with at some point, but how?
I am not sure what will happen if this ambush point is left unattended to. I suppose if that is where we wish to leave our efforts for now, only time will tell.
Can you get this to Sordillo?
To bring you up to speed, Sharik. I can do this, yes. What Morden has also brought up is that this ambush point right here is along the pathway that leads to the camp itself. It goes right up near one of the entrances and it's by a river. However, if we wait for a wagon to be going to the camp and then is attacked and then the volunteers are the ones who come to assist and then bringing it to Sordillo as an act of good faith, you could start to create a debt with Sordillo, and then your debt in payment would be poking around in the forest, slowing them down there.
What do we do?
I like it.
It would be better than trying to buy them all off.
No, because we're in the
More than and I'm in agreement, unless you are as well, that I will handle the Cassetto Road, as that is right by the forest, and they would think nothing of it. If I was to start attacking the Kroski's Road, they would become suspicious that we know something.
Okay.
And right now, because it's not on here, we must wait to see what happens with this iron mine.
Agreed.
Again, that is merely speculation on my part, but I have a bad feeling that is where it's going to go.
They almost
Especially once this road is
agree with you on that.
Sure. So
No, they
like,
were trying to fleece you. They were trying to get more out of you.
yeah, exactly.
I'm going to see what I can do about this. This forge, this
Make them go away.
middle point in this map.
Just give the money, they'll just want more.
I'll speak with the alchemists and see what I can conjure.
I think we can deal with this.
See if we can find a way to break it from the inside. And that means before we can
We'll
even
start looking
start
into it
that,
now.
we have to deal with these.
We need to break each point of contention and make sure that we kill whoever is leading these parties, which would break morale and cohesion, as we have said, which would only leave Zuruk if they are there. More than likely, if they are speaking in such a tone, like we heard the other night, he is somewhere inside, not making himself present.
We don't know how many there are just skulking around the city.
I only saw 3, but then there were 2 more that were prowling around.
So
What's
for now,
new?
I focus Cassetto. The volunteers will wait for an ambush point leading to Sordillo, which will take care of the forests, which leaves the Husky's road to be left for some other time, and possibly the mine if it comes to it. Are we in agreement?
Agreed.
Aye.
Alright.
Very well.
This is the only option we have to us because we can't let things go on unattended.
I've kept a copy upstairs
I may
for
even
Tazim
send
to look
word.
at when we look back. When we'll get that one to Sodilla once we figure out, you know, being in debt and such. You hang on to that one. We can plan around it.
How about this? We give this to them after in our debt.
That's what I was thinking.
Then they know where to go.
I can't just wait here.
A bargaining chip as it is.
Maybe knock a few heads around.
While it is a little underhanded to do this to the mercenaries, I'm sure they will
We
understand.
need to act on this.
Yeah, I know.
I'll keep it
What
the
do you
stuff
think?
that they need to know.
But I need to see them first.
Very well. In the
Will
meantime,
your friend help us?
He's got places
I
to
will
be.
let Mr. Kovas know of what we are going to do, so that he is aware of where our efforts are going, and I will make sure that he knows who is helping me in these efforts.
Let's go!
Be it all the volunteers and
Has to be
such.
done.
Let us be off.
Be careful. Don't talk to anyone either.
Let us go.
Alright. I'm gonna vacate and see if I can get a look at these guys. Come on.
Should I?
Just all.
Rick,
Hmm.
a noble wants your attention. He's at the forge right now.
Who?
It's the orange hair guy with redhead slave that we know.
For fuck's sake. Right, so I'm gonna go out there, talk to this guy, and get harassed by these debt collectors. Lovely.
I'll go with you.
Seems like I really don't have a choice in this matter. Good luck.
But before I forget, Sharik,
Hmm.
tell the others until the night finds us.
And you.
Thank you, Marcella.
There's a beautiful maiden in there, and they're taking care of business before he comes back.
I had found the blacksmith.
I know that all
Here
too
he is.
well.
I've presented to you.
How can I help you?
Blacksmith.
This is the blacksmith.
I had put in an order for a belt buckle some time ago.
Hmm.
I kept forgetting to pick it up.
That's fine, we actually have them here. I've been holding on to them. One moment. I think I left them over here.
Is there anything that you think I should get before I forget?
The other night you snapped that one buckle. I don't need to remind you. Probably replace it.
I blame your neck for that.
I can put another order in if you'd like.
Either way, it snapped.
This'll do quite nicely. You know, I do have a dueling saber that I keep at my estate. It has not gotten some work in some time, and I have heard, through the grapevine, so to speak, that the forge here does decent work. It's something you'd be up to trying. It's very ornamental and fragile.
Of course, would it be steel or iron?
It is steel.
I see. I'd give it a shot. We could have a touch-up of it. Make sure it's honed right. Sharp. Polished.
That sounds absolutely marvelous.
Very
I
good.
can have that brought down either tomorrow or the next day, or perhaps I will send Miss Scarlet with it.
I can put the order in, and once it shows up, we'll get to work on it.
Excellent. I do not remember. Were you paid for your buckle work?
We were, yes.
Very good. Well, thank you once again,
Sharik, sir.
Sharik. A pleasure. I am the Marquis, one of the noblemen up at the keep. It's a pleasure to meet you. We'll get out of your hair now, huh?
Of course. She can swing by with the sword later.
Of course.
Kyler, as the Marquis turns to walk away, you hear footsteps behind you. The man who, with 15, you can tell clearly has been watching you for some time.
Yes, of course.
Can I help you, sir?
You met him earlier, the one with the...
Can you
grab
from
behind?
What the fuck?
He assisted
What the actual fuck? I'm literally going to ask him to sharpen this. What the actual fuck?
You should probably lead with that next time in case another citizen
I
tries
was
to.
literally doing it as I was saying so. I was literally saying it. As I was
We're
moving
not
my arm.
associated with them.
Between Sharik and Marcus.
What kind of mask is that?
It's strange. Maybe that's the point.
Seems strange.
Well, how can I help you?
Can you sharpen this?
Sure.
I was going to go talk to him about his soap, but then he disappeared.
I think he went
Just iron, correct?
I think you just need a little bit more object permanence.
That it is, sadly.
Huh.
At least it gets the job done.
We're at better times. That can be 20 copper and I can have it done in about a couple minutes, if you'd be okay to wait.
I'm fine with waiting.
You're a merc, are you?
That I am. I do work for those that request it.
Are you with the company?
I'm just trying to get on by. Not really a company. Kinda on my own.
Huh. Don't see that much often in Gradia.
Yeah. But don't really see a blacksmith and leather all that much. Especially nothing like that.
Well, you know how it is. You know how Gradia can be. I was actually on my way out of town.
Also
but...
wasn't expecting a drow of all people. That's usually a first for me.
Yeah, I get that. It's kind of a
I've
novelty.
seen an elf, a dwarf, a hobbit, but not a drow blacksmith.
It's like a novelty, right? Get your sword sharpened by a drow.
And it is. Oh yes, seeing a actual strange and unique occurrence of a drow blacksmith.
Well, I'd rather let my work rather than my race speak for itself.